All right, what's up, YouTube? So I'm pretty sure I saw this dude's video on, or at least one of his TikToks, and he was talking about this. It's going to basically open with the TikTok, right? That he said he was basically talking about how the question is there a duelist problem in Marvel Rivals, right? And he opens his video with the TikTok that I saw, at least the version of it where he says, oh, people instalock this, people instalock that. And we're gonna talk about it because I don't think the game has an insta-lock problem. I don't think the game has a duelist problem or anything like that. I think the problem is that people don't know how to play enough characters, and the fact that none of us at low ranks are playing the real game, right? Like the quote-unquote real game. And you don't play the real game until you hit diamond, because that's when you get pick ban system, right? And so if anybody were to ever make it to diamond, never playing another character and not understanding how to play any other characters or any roles, right? And let's say they never played they've never played healer, they've never played tank, and they just instalock DPS all the way to diamond. They probably are cracked. They probably are at least cracked at aim, right? Or at least cracked at DPS, right? And then like they get to diamond, and then they've been playing Hela the whole time. They've been playing Hawkeye the whole time, and then their character gets banned, right? Now they have to play another DPS that they're not used to playing, or they don't know how to play, they're not as good at, and now they're probably gonna drop in rank severely because they're never gonna make it past diamond without learning multiple characters. Now, will I ever make it to diamond? Probably not. I don't see myself making it to diamond. If I do, great. If not, I whatever. I par for the course. So I'm just trying to make it as far as I can, and trying to be as understanding of the game as I can be, and hopefully make it further than I expect myself to make it, right? So without further ado, let's just watch his video and see what he has to say, and I'm just gonna react to it. So let's check it out.
Every game is instalock Spider-Man, instalock Black Panther, instalock Punisher, instalock Hela, and they always have the fucking nerve to be like, oh man, I need healing, I need healing, I need DPS, I need damage, I need someone to die. Hela, you 2 and 8, you insta-lock the character and no one's dying. I can't heal you. I can't do it because I'm in the back line getting back shots. I'm a Yggdrasil, you in Wakanda, nigga. We ain't in the same game. You playing Overwatch 2, I'm playing Marvel Rivals. You Doomfist, I'm Mantis. Help me, kill somebody, bitch. Go get a fucking kill. Peter Parker broke ass. Go kill somebody.
All the duelists.
Okay. All right. So this might not be his video. Hold on. This is the EHG community. Tem Game Boys. Anyway, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this video. Let's talk about this one right here. This right here. If you're a support player, right? If you're a support player, if you mainly play support, regardless of what your team is doing, right? It is your job to heal them. I don't care whether they're not getting damage, whether they're not getting kills. Heal them. Heal them. Give them more chances to get the damage. Give them more chances to get the DPS. Give them more chances to get the kills. That's how it works. That's how you're supposed to play the game. I don't care whether my DPS is, if I'm playing a healer, I don't care whether my DPS is not doing it. Is it going to piss me off? Yes, it's going to piss me off that it feels like they're not killing anything, or it's going to feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or they're going to feel like they're not prioritizing the right targets. It's going to feel like everybody's spread out and doing their own thing and not watching each other's backs. That's what it's going to feel like. But am I going to stop healing them? Hell no. You know why? Because that's going to make it even worse. That's going to make it even worse. That is going to make it the absolute worst it could possibly be. If you do not heal people because, oh, they're not doing enough damage. Oh, they're 2-8. Do you know where your KOs come from? KOs come from you just hitting people, and then say, for instance, you know, the Hellas and, you know, DPS characters are going to mostly be getting the final hits. They're going to be getting the kills. The only time usually like DPS characters like Hela and Hawkeye and you know, the snipers and Black Widow and these characters that have long range, you know, attacks that are getting kills by themselves are when it's like an Iron Man up in the sky that they literally need to take care of, right? When it's a you know, Storm, nobody plays Storm. When, you know, but what I'm saying is when you have these characters that are just basically popping damage into the enemy. If I'm sitting there with Hawkeye and I'm hitting and I hit, let's say one of their healers, and I hit them for like 75% damage, right? And then I missed the next shot because they got away or something like that, right? I did all of the damage to that character, and the people that are down there around them that are not paying attention, right? They're not helping, right? Because they're like, oh, they're doing their own thing off to the side. They're not really paying attention to what's going on around them at all. They're not paying attention to the point. They're like off the point somewhere on the side, shooting at something or whatever, when we need to be on the point and making sure that we get everybody that's on the point off of it. So if they're already off of it, they're not a priority anymore. The priority is the people that are on the point already, right? So when I shoot that person and then they run off the point and y'all didn't kill them, it's like, all right, well, I'm not getting that KO. They probably went to go heal, but you know what I did do? I got their ass off the point, right? And then people are getting collapsed on. It's like, oh, well, I'm playing Hawkeye, right? I'm playing Hawkeye. I'm doing damage. I'm making people run off and go away from the area. I'm making people scared to poke their head out, right? I may not be getting a kill all the time, but like you're putting in enough damage where it's like people don't want to poke their head out. I'm hitting people, just chunking their health away, but they're not finishing the kill, right? The team is not finishing the kill. So I'm not going to get a KO for it. You're just going to see the damage pile up for it. There's a lot of times where I'm shooting people and I'm actually getting kills, right? I'm getting kills and I'm like knocking out healers, knocking out DPS characters that are being a pain, right? Knocking out whoever is the problem, right? Knocking them out with Hawkeye, right? From long range. And I will not get MVP because I didn't do more damage than another DPS, right? Another DPS could have died more, have one more KO than me, and have more damage than me, but I'm knocking people out like at pivotal moments and knocking people out that are like literally the problem right here. And then you've got the other DPS that is just laying into the tank as much as they can to pile on the damage. And then like, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, do what you're going to do as long as you know, getting your damage off, doing your DPS, doing your thing. But like it just feels like sometimes like I'll switch on to DPS when I'm playing tank if we got two tanks sometimes, just to use the DPS to be more defensive, to make it so that I'm hitting these people and doing the damage. So what you want to do when you're a support character, you don't want to not heal your DPS no matter what they're doing, no matter what their score looks like. You want to not hinder them from like fighting. Heal them. Always heal them, regardless of how well they're doing, because if you stop healing them, you're making it actually worse. If you're already doing bad, if your team is already doing bad and you decide, I'm gonna stop healing because this guy is not doing that good, you're making it actually worse for your team. Like so much worse for your team. Because now the people that are doing the DPS or lack thereof, they're not going to run away and go find a health pack. They're going to keep sitting there shooting mindlessly, trying to do DPS, missing or doing whatever they're doing, shooting at the wrong targets, not paying attention to what's going on around them. And then they're going to die faster because you decided, oh, I'm not going to heal that person. because they're not doing that well. Good job. You've just become part of the problem. You weren't part of the problem while you were healing them, and they were part of the problem. But since you stopped healing them and now they're dying even faster, now you've become part of the problem. Just remember that. Remember that when you're healing and your team and your DPSs are not like living up. At least you know that if you are healing them and keeping them in the fight and keeping them alive as long as you possibly can, that you did everything you were supposed to do to be able to try to help them and assist them with their fights and the people that they're shooting at, whether it be a 1v1 directly in front of them or whatever. Make sure you heal them and help them stay alive so that they can do as much damage as they possibly can by staying in the fight. Even if you have a DPS that is good and you just happen to see a score and it's like, oh, he's just getting jumped on because he's 2-8 because the back line keeps getting dived over and over again by the Black Panther or the Spider-Man on the other team, and they are absolutely like destroying him, right? It's like, well, yeah, he could switch to a different DPS, he could switch to whatever, but then now you're going to be looking at him like, oh, he's not doing anything, he just keeps dying. Yes, it's probably a reason that he keeps dying. Turn around and help him. Help him. Help him. If you don't help him, it makes it bad for your team. It just flat out makes it bad. Bro.
To all the duelists that complain, saying they need a support or a better support, why don't you fucking play support then?
Oh man. Oh man. This is facts. This is facts, but like you literally if you don't play as a team and you sit there and you go, won't you play support, then that's not helping nobody. That's not helping the team win the game. If they say I need support or I need a better support, it probably means that you're not healing them. And that's what it probably means. Now, if they keep saying it while you're dead, you probably have to start, giving the information that, hey, I'm dead. Or when you die, be like, hey, I'm dead. Or just be like, yo, our such and such is dead. Because they might not know your voice to know who you were playing, right? When you just say, I'm dead. I'm just thinking about this now. So I'm going to start doing this in games where it's like, all right, if I'm playing support, whatever character I'm playing, I'm just going to be like, my character, like their name is dead. Like, Doctor Strange is dead. Our Doctor Strange is dead. Our Penny is dead. Our tank is dead. Our Luna is dead. So that you know that you're not going to be getting healing from that character from here on out because that character is dead. And you can even do this in text chat because when you die, you can just type it because you're not doing nothing else. Just type it. Our Luna is dead if you don't want to use your mic. What are the ways that you can mitigate people being able to say they need a better support? That's what you need to work on. Why don't you fucking play support then? No, that's not. No. Be a better support. Because a lot of the supports I see be running around doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing and not focused on healing their team. So you probably do need a better support. They probably are saying, hey, I need to be healed. Because like if you're sitting there fighting, right? And then you get hit by something and now you've taken cover and you're like, hey, my health bar is still at half. It's been 5 seconds. My health bar is still at half. Time is ticking. It's been 10 seconds. My health bar is still at half. Oh, there you go. Meanwhile, the support are in the front of the fight shooting at the enemy team. While for 5 to 10 seconds, because that's 10 seconds is a long time in this game, bro. 10 seconds is a long time. Except for at the end of the game where it's like 10 seconds left. Then 10 seconds is nothing. But that's probably what you need to be doing is healing, getting in the back. Supports, get in the back. If you can't see your team in front of you, you're doing something wrong.
Why don't you try healing 4 to 5 brain dead duelists at once? Maybe
I have, and it's hard. Get your ass on a character that could possibly do it. Get your ass on a character that could possibly do it. Get on Cloak and Dagger and stay on Dagger. Get on Luna Snow and start using piercing shots through people. It's hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. Especially if they're brain dead. Especially if people are not trying to preserve their life and get back and run away when they need to be healed. But you also need to be making sure that if you're playing healer, you're doing the best possible job you possibly can, and you also need to communicate when you die. Because if people are saying that you're not healing, it's probably because they're not paying attention, especially if you're dead and they're like, "Oh my god, where's my healer?" Because you're dead. Like, you got dived in the back line. How are the tanks in the front and maybe the DPS that's with them in the front, how is the team supposed to know that you're getting dived in the back line if we're pushing the payload and you're not saying anything? Spider-Man swings by, swoops in, and then just combos you into oblivion and then swings off. Right? How are they supposed? You got to tell them. You got to tell them there's always something you can do to make the situation better. It sucks. But you got to. You got to. Like, and then the other thing you can do is make sure you have rules for how many games you play if you really want to try to rank up. How many games you play in a row, how many games you lose in a row. Basically, not how many games you play. It's basically how many losses you allow yourself to take in a row. I only allow myself 2 losses in a row at this point. After hitting bronze 1, I was like, I am only going to allow myself 2 losses in a row before I take a break. If I take 2 losses in a row, I have to take a break for a while. Play quick play something else, do something else, come back, play the game, and then go for another 2 games and try to win one of those games and just not take 2 losses in a row. Because sometimes they put you in these games with people and it's just like these people have 0 idea what they're doing, and then the other team has everybody is just like on it. Everybody's just on point. Everybody's just they're just reading each other's minds. They're just down y'all team's throat. And then you watch the replay and you realize, oh, it's because my team has 0 idea what they're doing. They're not, they're not working as a team. They're splitting off down 3 different lanes for some reason. In this certain area of the map. They're trickling in all the time, and I think I have probably I've been trying to make sure I don't do the trickle in thing. I try to wait for my team, especially like now getting the silver 2. I'm trying to wait, and a lot of people understand that now. They're like yo, I'm gonna wait for you, but you gotta say it. You gotta say something. You gotta be like, hey, wait. Let's not push in. Wait, I'm waiting for the rest of the team. And most time people are like, yeah, let's wait for the team. What can you do to make the situation better for your team?
Maybe try thanking your fucking supports once in a while too. This is not the MCU and you are not the main character.
Try thanking your supports. I mean, I do that. I do that sometimes. I definitely thank my supports sometimes. Especially if I'm in a fight and a support is pocket healing me and I'm fighting somebody and then I win the fight and I'm just like, all right, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. But like expecting thanks, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it all the time. You're not gonna get it all the time.
Bro, stop fucking rushing in and trying to 1v6 and blaming me when you die.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Don't do that.
Healers give 20k healing and your tanks give 20k damage block. What do you give? 2 kills and 19 fuck.
I'm sure that's not realistic metric. If y'all are really doing that, then if y'all got somebody that's doing two KOs and 19 deaths, then that means that the healers were not healing properly. They were probably shooting into the other team and then also healing just to get the heal stat and not really healing when they need to be healing their team. So it'll be like, oh, they're shooting into the other team, or they're healing only when the fight is over, they or something like that. And then like, they're just the fact that one of the DPSs has 2 kills, and I'm talking about a DPS that's actually trying. Now, if we are talking about that somebody that's not really trying or does not have any idea what they're doing, and they have 2 KOs, it's probably because they're hiding in the back. Because like it's so hard to only get 2 KOs. It is very difficult that if you're out there in the fight to only get 2 KOs. All of the damage that you contribute to a kill will get you a KO. So like, if you just start popping people and then they start dying, if you're doing AoE damage or whatever, you're just doing damage to random enemies and they start dying, you'll get KOs. You will. Getting 2 KOs on a DPS character is insane. And then 19 deaths, that means y'all are doing something wrong as a team. Because, of course, they're going to have more deaths because they're squishy. They're very squishy. Of course, they're going to have more deaths. If the team is not doing something properly. And now it could be the one guy just in there just throwing, just running it down. But I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. There's no incentive to running it down. Like, it's just like, maybe there is, but I don't know. I just can't see nobody like doing it.
Yes.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me.
What does it say? Duelist? Oh my God, I got MVP again. I'm the reason we won. Every strategist main. That is true. Just because you got MVP doesn't mean you're the reason that we won the game. Most of the time, it probably is like the strategist that helps the most with keeping everybody alive. Because if it wasn't for healing, you wouldn't really be able to do anything. There was one game that I've ever had where it didn't make any sense that we won the game. It didn't make any sense that we won. Let me see if I can find this. Never mind. I already closed the game. I was gonna go back and see if I could find the match where we played, and it was legitimately, we had all DPS characters, and I'm sitting there looking at it like, why are we having all DPS? Why do we have all DPS characters right now? Why do we have? Because I didn't feel like I was getting healed. I was like, yo, why am I not getting healed? I feel like have not gotten healed once. And I look and I'm like, oh, we don't have any healers. And then I look at the top of the list and I'm like, oh, we don't have any tanks either. What the hell? So I'm like, all right, I'll switch. But then I thought to myself, well, if I switch to tank, we still don't have any healers. If I switch to healer, we still don't have any tanks. So I switched to Namor so that I can throw down squids and have turrets and just have these little squid turrets shooting at people. And somehow we took the point. Meanwhile, they have a Hulk and 2 healers and 3 DPSs. They had an actual comp. We had all DPSs. And because they did not work as a team at all, they lost. They lost the point to us. They had the point. We stole the point from them and held it and won the match. Now, it was a quick play match, but generally in quick play, I feel like people play better. Generally, I win more in quick play, but winning with all DPS characters, the team had to be doing something terribly wrong to lose to all DPSs. When y'all had an actual comp. That make any sense?
You need me to save you. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Now, I think we can all agree that this is really a fucking problem. And now when people are going to constantly complain about it, then what do you expect the...
Oh, this is his video.
...to do? Like, do you expect them to just go ahead and sit back and do so? Now, understandable that this game just came out, and now this being a major problem here
Is it really a major problem? Is it a major problem? No. This is not a major problem. This is something that happens because people want to play who they want to play. That's just it. I hope he's not about to go into the role queue or role lock or whatever, because role queue is not going to help. It's literally not going to help. It's going to make the game worse, less fun to play, and a lot of people might just drop the game. I don't know, maybe not as many people are going to drop the game, but it's going to be controversial because like people don't want role queue, or some people don't want role queue, others don't. You can't please everybody, but like you realize that, okay, well, now we're locked into having this very specific comp, but just because you do that doesn't mean that the people that pick healers are going to actually heal. We see that now. People who play supports literally get on support and just DPS. They get on Mantis and be like, oh, I can damage boost myself. I'm just going to only DPS. I mean, she has to shoot the other team to get the crits so that she can get her life orbs back. I get that. I play the character too. But focus more on damage boosting the damage dealers that are fighting, right? If you see your teammate fighting, or you see somebody getting ready to go in, like you see Scarlet Witch is about to go over there and start clicking on somebody, damage boost that Scarlet Witch. You see this Hawkeye got his arrow pulled back, damage boost that Hawkeye. You understand what I'm saying? You pop them a heal, give them a damage boost, right? Pop somebody else a heal and a damage boost, and then you fire into the other team. And then you go back, and as soon as your life orb comes back, you trying to keep everybody alive. You trying to keep everybody as tanky as possible, because she's not really super good at healing. Like, she gives people a heal thing, and it heals over time, which is good. She's not a main healer, but she's a godlike support character. She's a godlike support. You have a main healer and a Mantis, y'all are probably good. Especially if the Mantis is paying attention to who she's damage boosting. Sometimes you go and randomly damage boost people just to get the damage boosts out there because y'all might be packed into a team fight or something like that. But if you can select the damage, the DPS characters that are like actually doing damage to get that damage boost off so they can kill easier, do that. Focus on the job that your character is supposed to do. And everybody's matches will go better.
It seems to get to a point where a lot of people nowadays actually just insta-lock Duelist. And it comes from the point where I feel like they just strictly came from Overwatch. And the weird part, the majorly weird part.
Bro, people are going to insta-lock the characters that they like playing the most. That's what's going to happen. All the time. That's going to happen all the time. No matter what hero shooter comes out, there's never, like, I insta-lock tank because that's what I'll be playing most of the time. And I know I'm going to have to play it most of the time anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play tank most of the time. If people insta-lock tank and then you just wait to see what people insta-lock, then most of the people, that's what a lot of people do now. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of people that literally just wait for other people to lock in their character, right? They'll wait because they're like, I don't think a lot of people just insta-lock Duelist. Maybe people are insta-locking Duelist in Bronze 3, but like once you get the Bronze 1, I feel like that doesn't happen as much anymore. People still will insta-lock the Duelist, but it's like you still need DPSs. So if there's somebody that insta-lock Duelist, they probably, most likely, know how to play that character the best. So of course they're going to insta-lock the Duelist. People want to do damage. They want to get kills. They don't want to be protecting everybody. They just want to do damage. They want to shoot stuff. That's what most people want to do when they get into these games. There's very few of us who are like, I want to win the match. They just want to win with their character. This ranked mode is not like a fighting game where in most fighting games you have a character that has their own rank. each character in this game doesn't have their own rank. They have that outside of it where you have like the proficiency or whatever, right? Where it's like you can just farm proficiency in like quick play and just, you know, you get to a point where you get these little mini like rewards or whatever for getting to certain thresholds of playing that character. And then like to show that you play that character a lot, right? You get different portrait image, you get a different like kill confirm thing on the side of the screen. Like you get all these little mini rewards and stuff like that. And that's what people want to get. But then like people only want to play one character. In this game, you can't do that. If you want to rank up, you're ranking your account up. So you need to be able to play multiple characters. Even if you're not playing every character, you just need to play a couple of different characters so that you can switch for different situations and be like, okay, this is not really working out that well. Let me see if me playing this different character will work out a little bit better and see if that will like help things along a little bit better rather than just keep doing the same thing that you're getting like smashed on all the time. Like a couple of games, I switched to a bunch of different characters because it'll be like, okay, well, I want to get up and do a lot of damage and do damage and make them move and get out of the way. So I started picking Iron Man, and I'll pick Iron Man and fire down into the thing to get them to move away from the point or to get them to move off the point because they can't just stand out in the open while Iron Man is peeking from behind a building, firing explosive shots at the ground, right? You can't just stand there, right? So then that happens, and I'd be scared because I'm like, damn, if they pick a Hela or they pick like a Black Widow, I gotta like be ducking and bobbing and weaving around these shots and try not to get shot out of the sky. But if I start getting shot out of the sky too well, and it's like, all right, well, I gotta switch off of that. I gotta switch off of that and just go for something else because that's not gonna work. It's just gonna hinder my team because I'm gonna keep getting shot out of the sky. So let me pick something else to see if I can kind of get the same thing and just get them to move off the point. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But you got to be able to play a lot of different stuff, or at least a couple of different things to have options.
It goes to the point that like when you were playing Overwatch 1 and you would see like the 4 DPS and, you know, 1 tank and 1 healer, and then 2 of the DPS were not doing better than the other 2. And then you can understand why a lot of people are going to get upset about this. Now,
okay, but think about it this way. If the DPSs can't hit the enemies, right? And you put them on a healer role, and they say, let's say for instance, they pick Luna Snow because they like Luna Snow. You put them on a healer role, and now they can't hit you. Or you say, oh, maybe tell them to pick Dagger, right? Tell them to pick Dagger. They'll pick Dagger, and because they can switch, they're gonna think they're supposed to switch all the time, and they'll be switching to Cloak to try to do DPS and get kills. So you'll put them on a healer, they're still gonna DPS. You put them on Rocket Raccoon, they're just gonna be firing their gun the whole time, shooting it into the other team, and you're trying to figure out, well, how come we're not getting heals? Oh, because you wanted your DPS to play a healer, and they don't know how to play a healer. Or you want your DPS that doesn't know how to DPS to play tank, and they don't know how to tank. So they can barely do DPS on the tank. So they damn sure not going to do well on, they don't know how to do DPS on a DPS character. So they damn sure not going to do well on a tank where they have like kind of less DPS. It's slower, harder to deal with, and know when to block, know when to, move back, knowing how to disrupt the enemy team and try to get them out while they're being healed. They don't know how to do that. So it's like you can't make somebody learn how to do something, so you got to play around them. Because I'm sure there are other people on the team there's a bunch of people that are on the team that can play something else. But it depends on, are they going to play something else? But we all know that you have to be able to play at least 1 healer and at least 1 tank in addition to a DPS character if you want to be a DPS main. If you're going to be a DPS main, you have to be at least good with or understand how to play 1 of the tanks, maybe 2. Play 1 of the tanks, play 1 of the healers, so that at least if more people lock in DPS, you can have an option to switch to another character that you know how to play that's a different role. And I think most people know that, because I don't really get games like that where it's like mostly DPS players. Maybe in quick play that happens, because I'll instalock DPS in quick play, and if I instalock DPS in quick play, most of the time I'm not going to switch, because I'm like, oh, I want to try this character out. I came here to try this character out. So if no one else switches to tank or switches to healer, then like, oh well. Quick play doesn't mean anything, right? Quick play doesn't, you don't lose anything for losing quick play. So the people that get super butthurt in quick play, I think, are like, bro, first of all, you don't even know how to play. And if you're like the people who get super mad and butthurt in quick play that all DPS was picked, it's like, I don't get mad at that anymore. It's just like, it is what it is. We lost, okay. Nobody else wanted to switch. I literally always switch. I always switch. So if I go into quick play to play a specific character because I want to try that character, I'm going to play that character. But in ranked, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go into ranked like other people do and lock a character and then not switch if I need to switch. I'm not going to go in there, lock DPS, and then if everybody else picks DPS for whatever reason, I'm not going to switch. Of course I'm going to switch to tank or switch to healer and hope somebody else knows how to play one or the other two, so that we have a good comp. If you're a DPS main and you're in ranked and you don't know how to play any other role, you're probably part of the problem. Do I care? No, because I know how to play all the roles. So if I feel like I need to switch to DPS at a certain point in the game, I can do that. If I feel like I need to switch to tank, or I need to get off of tank and go on to healer, I can do that and be confident with it, because I play all the roles and I play a bunch of different characters. But I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's as big of a problem as people think it is. It's only a big problem in like lower ranks where people don't want to switch. In like the lowest rank, I think it's only in bronze 3. I'm pretty sure. I can't see any higher rank than bronze 2 all locking like 4 DPSs or 5 DPSs or 6 DPSs in a rank match. I don't see that happening.
With that, a lot of support players, the strategist players, get upset because of the simple fact that this is a problem for them, because they're going to be targeted. Like, a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people just don't understand that. But supports and strategists are going to be targeted 100%, because they're one of the reasons why most of the team stays alive, gets healed, gets buffs, or where the opposite team get nerfed, and it's very important. It's very important that people don't understand that.
All of the roles are important. All of them are equally important. I think the problem with people is that, yeah, they get targeted first, because if everybody is doing their job and the healers stop healing, it's the easiest role for people to fall prey to doing DPS when they're not supposed to. The tanks are supposed to be doing DPS. The DPS is supposed to be doing DPS. There is nothing else for them to do. They're supposed to block damage. The tanks are supposed to block damage, be out in front, and doing damage and causing problems for the other team. And they're supposed to make it so that the other team cannot ignore them and make them have to fight the tank, make them have to deal with them. And the DPSs are supposed to back up the tank, right? Back up the tank, kill the squishy targets, back up the tank when the tank needs help. When people start fighting the tank, then the DPSs start fighting the people that are fighting the tank. If that doesn't happen, bad things happen. But all the while, the healer is in the back healing everybody that needs to be healed, and then the tank and the DPSs need to protect the healers. It's a team effort. But the problem is that the healers are targeted most often, because the healers, the supports, are too, they they get the urge to do damage, right? They get the urge. They see somebody, oh, they're wide open right there. I could just, and I'll see people do. They'll turn around, they'll get a kill, like a healer, Luna Snow, turn around, get a kill on a Hawkeye, right? I just saw this in one of my games. Luna Snow turns around, gets a kill on a Hawkeye, right? And instead of turning back around to check on her team, because you should always be like super like mindful, and you should be like worried about your team dying. You should be worried about your team's health bars. Just how you're worried about not dying and you're worried about getting heals as any other characters, you should be worried about your team's health bars and your team getting heals. And if you're not doing it, who else is? Especially if you're a solo healer and you turn around to do damage, you better turn your ass back around and find out if your team's health bars are all at max. And if you don't, and then you go off to go fight a 1v1 in the arcade, you jump through the window and go fight this 1v1 with somebody that ran up behind y'all, and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to go off and fight when I don't need to, and I should run back to my team. You should let your team know, hey, there's somebody behind us. There's somebody trying to kill me. Somebody trying to like backline us or whatever, right? Let your team know that. Go back to healing. Shoot at them a couple of times to get them off your back. Go back to healing your team. Because your team needs it. Because if you help your team and your team is able to get everybody off the point, when that other person comes in from the back, they're like, oh, then they turn around. Now you're in a safer spot. They got to come in and fight your team, or they back off. Don't go fighting on your own. Don't go fighting the enemy team when your team is not in front of you. If you can't see your team, you shouldn't be doing damage to the other team. If your team is not on your screen, you should not be there. You should need to turn around. You need to go to a different spot. You need to get a different position. If your team is not on your screen, you need to move.
As I said, it's the idea that, you know, one person goes ahead and does the insta-locking. I think the insta-locking is very, very off. I think
no, it's not. It's not off. It's not off. It's just not. We've dealt with insta-locking in games forever. And people act like it's something new. People act like this shit is new. People go and insta-lock the character. Most people are going to insta-lock the character that they know how to play, that they want to play. And a lot of people, they hit level 10, they have only played one character, or it's their favorite character in Marvel. Remember, this is Marvel, but it don't matter. It happens in every game with whatever characters, right? They're going to lock their favorite character because they've just been practicing the character, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to be the best XYZ character, right? And they're going to go in there, they're going to insta-lock. If they insta-lock, oh well. If they would have insta-locked a healer, no one would say anything. But then when they're terrible at it, and they're like, oh yeah, I just started insta-locking healer because, you know, a lot of people weren't healing, so I decided I would do it. But they're terrible at it. But they're all right at doing DPS. But now they feel bad because they're like, oh well, now maybe I shouldn't insta-lock the DPS. Maybe I shouldn't. No. Let the people who are going to insta-lock, and everybody else build the team around them. You build the team around the insta-lockers. If you got 4 or 5 people insta-locking DPS, then you were just kind of meant to lose that game. That's what I feel like. You were just meant to lose that game. If you got 5 people insta-locking DPS and not changing off in ranked, you were just meant to lose that game. You just got to hold that. That's how it is. That's how it is at this point, like with ranked games. You just kind of got to hold that. And I can hold this loss better than I can like a League of Legends match or other matches, because these matches ain't 30 and 40 an hour long. These matches be like 5 to 15 minutes long. So I can deal with a loss a little bit better. And in Street Fighter and fighting games, losses be like 3 minutes. Like games be like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. A match. Not 2 out of 3, but like one game be like 3-4 minutes. So you don't be there that long. But overall, the game is like 15 minutes. Like if you play in the 2 out of 3, it's like 15-20 minutes. So it's like you investing your time into doing this and you want the best out of it. And that's what makes it frustrating. So
if you're gonna have the 222, I think that's going to be a needed thing.
No, absolutely not.
Don't like the idea of roll queue. It's going to lead to that because people are constantly complaining about it.
I mean, most likely somewhere down the line when we're not getting instant games, maybe it's needed. You know, like where but then again, nah, because it's still gonna slow the queues down. Because people are all gonna be all the people that want to install DPS are going to click on DPS, and the DPS queues are gonna be stupid long. DPS queues are gonna be stupid long, and then you're gonna get people that are gonna queue into tank, queue into healer, and then not play healer unless they're locked into those characters. If they're locked into those characters, they'll play them. But then people will be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna queue up. I'm just gonna queue up support and just play DPS because the DPS queues are too long." Or they're gonna queue up support and then pick somebody that can do damage and be like, "Yeah, I just picked this character because she can do a lot of damage." I heal sometimes, but I pick for DPS because the DPS queues are too long. You can't fix it. You can't fix the problem. You can't.
I think a lot of people need to understand that it's not really more about the role. It's also by like the team ups. I don't know why we have a Venom and not a Penny Parker or a Spider-Man. I don't know why we have a
because the team ups are not so important that like you need to have the other one. Like when I'm playing as Penny Parker, I should be using the team up ability more when Venom is on my team, but I tend not to. I feel like I don't be needing to use it, and I probably should be, but it's just so it's not so often that I have a Venom on my team. But when I used to have Spider-Man on my team, it helps Spider-Man do an easier kill combo than he normally would have. So like after the uppercut, you just do like you do web ball, pull, uppercut, and then into the suit expulsion, right? And that's a kill combo that he doesn't normally have unless Venom is there. But just because you don't have a Spider-Man or don't have a Penny Parker, you can still have a Venom. Like Venom can still be played without having them. Hulk can still be played without having, Iron Man or Doctor Strange, right? But if I'm playing Doctor Strange and somebody wants to pick Hulk to bolster my damage, great. I think that's what's nice about the team ups, is that the team ups make it so that depending on who you play, somebody can offer to basically just help you out because they're like, "Oh, I play that character, I can help out Doctor Strange, so he'll have more damage." Or I see this person is playing likes to play Hulk. They picked Hulk as their tank. I can play Iron Man if I'm good at playing that character because Iron Man will do a lot more damage. But you don't need to do that. It's not so crazy that like somebody should pick those characters if they don't really use those characters like that. If you pick those characters and you don't really use those characters like that, the team up is not really going to help you all that much. Maybe if you play the character and somebody else is getting the team up ability, like sometimes I don't play Rocket Raccoon that often, but Rocket Raccoon is not really that hard to play. You know what I'm saying? But if there's a Punisher or like a Bucky on my team, then maybe sometimes I might pick Rocket because like I was like, oh, I could throw down this thing and it'll give him unlimited ammo and faster fire rate, and it might make him do more damage. If he's going ham, then you could if the Punisher is already going ham and he's like has the most kills, picking Rocket would just make him so much better, right? Now I'm thinking about this off the top of my head because I don't be thinking about the team ups all that much. Now I know I'm probably going to have to, moving up the ranks. If I move up the ranks, you know what I'm saying? It's going to matter more because like a lot of people I think play like Hulk and Iron Man together because it does so much damage. Like Iron Man does so much damage with that, so it just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like Iron Man becomes a much better character. Some characters become much better characters and they get these things that they wouldn't normally, they get these things they wouldn't normally be able to do, and it bolsters the team. So if we got a Star-Lord and a Mantis on the team and you're like, you know what, I'm playing healer, I can switch to Adam Warlock. I could play Adam Warlock well enough, but it'll allow my Star-Lord and my Mantis to come back to life if they die, along with me being able to do the same thing. It's good. You don't need the other characters. You don't need the team ups, but the team ups can definitely help.
Captain America and not have a Thor or a Storm. I don't understand why we have things like Doctor Strange and Iron Man and no one goes Hulk. I think those are
because if nobody plays Hulk, if they don't understand how to play, if they don't know how to play Hulk, then it's not great. I'd rather have somebody, if I'm playing Doctor Strange and we got an Iron Man on the team, I'd rather somebody who is like, if the other Hulk, like if the other tank doesn't know how to play Hulk, right? Or if they don't play Hulk and they play another character, let's say, I don't know, they play Penny Parker. I'd rather have a Penny Parker playing with me as Doctor Strange on the point, because now they got to shoot through big shield and we got a whole bunch of these mines all over the floor that they got to walk into, and they and then we got our team shooting through my shield, and anytime they try to push up past us, they get blown up by mines, right? I don't need Hulk to be there. You know what I'm saying? Iron Man can still do his thing, shoot down into them, as they're running into mines and all that. We still got all this damage. We don't need the Hulk. And with the Hulk, we wouldn't have the mines, and it might just be a worse comp than what we're doing. Like, we might be holding them off crazy, and then they're like, you know what, maybe I should pick Hulk. And then they pick Hulk, and then it's not as good. Like, the defense is not as good, because it's like, okay, well, now we got a lot of damage, but we're supposed to be playing defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, just different situations.
Aspects where it's very important, and I could see that some people, especially the devs, want people to be able to play who they want to play, and that's a very good mindset. But when you're in a ranked game, I think role queue is going to need to be put, because it's getting really bad.
It's not. It's not. It's only really bad, I feel like, in probably the lowest ranks. I'm just coming out of bronze, and it was not even that bad. But I guess because I play all the roles, so I can always fill. Right, I can always fill what the team needs. I don't care what people insta-lock, because I know that I can fill whatever role needs to be filled. The only people I feel like that care so much about having a role queue are people that only play one role. Like, the people that only play one role and can't swap to a different role and be as effective on the other roles. That's the problem. Play more characters. If you want if you want role queue to be a thing, just play more characters. Play different roles. Learn the other roles, because in ranked characters will get banned if you're able to hit diamond, and I guarantee that in diamond people are not insta-locking DPS. Five people are not insta-locking DPS in diamond. They're not. They're just not. And they probably know how to play multiple characters, and they probably sit at the character screen for. I can't say this for sure, but I'm sure that more often than not, people are sitting at the character screen and they're like, okay, well, who are we banning? What characters do you guys play? What roles are we taking? Right? They probably talk about that like pre-match. And a lot of times you don't even have to talk about it. Like, you don't even have to talk about it. You can just, people just hover characters. You'll see what characters they're hovering, and you'll be like, okay, that guy wants to play Hela. this other guy wants to play this character, this other guy wants to play this character, and it's like you can insta-lock the character, but people insta-lock the character because that's the character they know how to play, or that's the character they intend to play, or that might be the best character they could play, and they know they can do work on that character. But then sometimes they don't. Sometimes maybe they think they can do work on the character and they don't, or maybe they are pretty damn good with the character, but they might just have a bad game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible.
Really, really bad, where I literally had to switch at one point to a Hawkeye to show that the Hawkeye that was 2-8, that I could play better than him and do better than him, and I ended up getting 20 kills, and that was my first time playing Hawkeye. Like,
maybe he just had a bad game. Is it a possibility? You can go check. You can literally go check people's match history. Nobody down here has hidden match history. You could go check people's match history if you really think they that bad. And I know that you can tell by some of the stuff that they do in match, and especially by the replays and stuff, like how bad they're playing. But sometimes if you check the replays, you might see that the other person was just getting dove the whole time. They might be 2-8 because nobody turned around to help them fight the person that kept diving in the back line. But people don't want to mention that. People don't want to think about that. People don't want to talk about those things, right? Like that the possibility that like the DPS player that is 2-8 is just getting dove over and over again by the other team, and they're not helping them. That they don't want to talk about that.
I understand if it's quick play, but if you're doing this in like ranked match or like competitive, that could lead you to get actually reported. That could lead you to actually get, you know, in trouble with that and banned, because that would be considered actually throwing, and that's
no, absolutely not. To have somebody have a bad game and they're actually trying, and then they don't do well in the match, right? And then you report them. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You do not report anybody for throwing because their score is low on a DPS. Do not do that, because that's just a slippery slope where people are going to start reporting, oh, we're going to report the healers. Well, we're going to report the healers for having less than 10k healing. We're going to report the healers for having less than 5k healing. This person only had 3k healing, which is bad, which is terrible. But it's just starting to report people for no reason. Throwing is literally the person stopped playing and stood there and stopped moving and didn't try to help and didn't try to do anything at all. But if somebody is literally trying and they're just not good at the game, that's one thing. But if they're literally throwing, where they're just not playing anymore, which I've had people do that in my matches, that is what you report people for. You report people when they stop moving, they stay in spawn the whole time. They stay in spawn for an extended period of time. They don't help, right? I would consider a healer that is not healing a majority of the time and not healing as the main thing they're doing, and this doing DPS damage into the other team. I would consider that more throwing than a DPS that's doing bad trying to do their job. That's more throwing than a DPS doing bad while they're trying to do their job. A healer that is literally just not doing their job, trying to be a DPS.
that is a rightfully so thing.
No, it's not.
As I said, these ideas here actually make sense, and I kind of understand the complaints. As someone who is a overall flex player, like if somebody needs a tank, I'll be tank. Someone needs a DPS, I'll be DPS. If someone needs to be a support, I'll be a support. But it gets worse. It gets very, very, very bad when you see 3 DPS and nobody's killing anything, or one of the.
If you have 3 DPSs, that's fine. That is fine. 3 DPSs, a tank, 2 healers is fine. The only thing I think is like bad as a comp that actually sounds like it makes sense is 2 tanks, 1 healer, and 3 DPSs. Because it's hard for 1 healer to heal 2 tanks. It's just harder for 1 person to heal 2 tanks and still keep everybody else alive. It's just harder, right? So, which it can work if y'all are working together as a team, but I think it's just worse than having 1 tank, 2 DPSs. 1 tank, 2 healers, 3 DPSs. Not saying that's the best comp or whatever. Like, it depends on what y'all doing, what the map is, what y'all playing on offense or defense, what the characters are, all that, right? 2-2-2 is not the only way to play. 2-2-2 is not always the best way to play, right? Like, sometimes you can get things done faster if you have more damage, and then you have your 2 healers making sure that your tank stays at the top of his game, and then having the 2 healers focus the tank, and as a secondary thing, you heal all the DPSs, right? You got the 2 people healing everybody, and the more damage, and then the 1 tank kind of blocking, getting in there, causing trouble, whatever, staying alive, getting in, getting out, depending on what tank you're playing. I play Penny a lot, so my disruption is to make sure that my nest gets put out, and I spread mines on cooldown. I just keep throwing them down. I never stop throwing down mines, right? Throw mines into fights. If I see people fighting, I throw mines over into their fight so that it assists with the damage, right? That's how I cause the disruption with Penny, right? Then you have like Captain America. Captain America he's a mobile tank, so like he's got to be in there running around, doing damage, causing a disruption, he gets low, he holds the shield up, he runs, jumps, dives, gets out of there, gets healed, goes back in, and just causes problems for everybody. Causes disruptions on the healers, so the healers have to work on like defending themselves and trying to tell people, hey, I need help back here, and then people are turning around to help the healers. He gets out, he goes to get healed, he goes back in, and while he's causing all these problems, right? They have to deal with him, and then while the rest of the team pushes in onto the objective, right? Everything's not always going to go that smoothly because everybody doesn't understand that, or that you can play the characters these ways, and it's rough sometimes. If you are playing like Doctor Strange, right? Doctor Strange, he kind of just holds his shield up. He just holds his shield up, blocks for everybody. Hopefully the DPSs are shooting through his shield at the other team, so the other team can't just for free shoot the shield, because like they have to shoot the shield to break the shield to be able to get through to do damage, right? So then once my shield is down, if I'm in a good position, I'm getting pocket healed by the 2 healers that I have or whatever, then it's like, all right, I'm getting super healed by the 2 healers that I have, and now I'm running up on people in the front line, and I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can. I'm like, primary fire, whip, primary fire, whip, primary fire, whip, and then I get the 100 meter, and then expel the damage, right? And try to get kills that way, get damage that way, cause a disruption that way, right? Like you want to be in there fighting, and then your healers have to be healing you heavy while the DPSs are helping you fight, right? It can work. 1 tank, 2 healers, 3 DPS can work. It just don't work because it just don't feel like it ever works, because people just don't do their job, and it feels more comfortable to have 2-2-2. It's not the best all the time, but it feels more comfortable to have 2-2-2 because you know that at least one of your tanks might be doing well, at least one of your DPSs might be doing well, and at least one of your healers might be doing well, right? But if you got 2 healers that's DPSing, then everything falls apart anyway. Even if you got 1 healer that's supposed to be healing as a main healer and they start DPSing, everything falls apart.
The DPS is not providing what they're supposed to be doing. I think it gets to a point where a lot of people now are like doing one tricks also during this instance. And
the same thing as Instalock.
One tricking in Overwatch or this is absolutely one of the worst ideas ever, because then people have to switch around you, and that's fucking lame.
No, I mean, as a flex player, right? If you are a flex player and I am a flex player, right? I don't care. I don't care if people are one tricking. If you are a true flex, you should not give two shits about people one tricking on a character. You shouldn't care. The only people that care about other people one tricking are people who only play one role, and like, let's say for instance, one person plays only one role. They play two characters, and now they filled the DPS. They're like, oh, I only play this one character, and then the other person instalocks DPS, right? And then now the person who is a one role trick, right? They're a one role trick where they play multiple characters in DPS, can't pick any of their characters, or quote unquote, they probably would, because you can have 3 DPSs. But it's like, okay, well, you're not going to play tank. They're not going to play healer. They're going to play another DPS. They're going to play a third DPS. So we can play the comp, 1 tank, 3 heal. I mean, 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 healers. We can play that comp. That's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. If the other third DPS or the other one of the other 2 DPSs decides that, oh, this doesn't feel good, I'm going to play tank, because they got to switch around the one trick and the one roll trick. So, do what you got to do to win the game. Do what you got to do to win the game. If somebody else is not going to switch, if somebody else is one tricking, as a flex player, do what you got to do to win the game. Do what you got to do to try to win the game. Do what you got to do to make it a little bit better for your team to try to win. It's not always going to work. But all you could do is change what you do. You can't really control all these other people. And if you sign up to play this game, you already should know what you in for. You in for being on teams with random people that may not know how to play the game. And going forward, you just going to have to deal with it. Roll queue does not help that problem. You're still going to be playing with people that have no idea what they're doing. You're still going to get people who are playing DPS and have zero idea or are terrible at it, because just because we have a roll queue doesn't mean that like your DPSs are now going to be cracked all the time. It doesn't mean that the only people that you're going to get matched with are good DPSs. You can get matched with 2 shitty DPSs. Roll queue's not going to help that.
It's absolutely a mindset that is ridiculous, and in my opinion, that should be a reportable offense, because intentionally you're causing an issue for the team, and you're going ahead and not.
One tricking is not a reportable offense. It should never be a reportable offense. I don't know why you would ever think that one tricking a character should be a reportable offense. There is nothing in the terms of service of the game, I'm sure, that says you need to be able to play multiple characters to play ranked in this game. If that was the case, you should have to have in the game, you would need to, in order to enforce this, you would need to have at least 2 hours in each role, right? 2 hours in each role to play ranked. But I guarantee you there would be people just sitting their role in ranked, or sitting their role in quick play, throwing games just to get their time up, because like, I don't know how to play tank. I don't want to play tank. I'm just going to sit my character here in this match for 15 minutes and rack up this time. I don't want to play this character. I'm just trying to get my time so that I can. Then you're going to get report. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is stupid. You can't fix the problem. You're going to have bad players regardless of what you do and how ranked Q regardless of how ranked Q is, you're going to have bad players. Period. You just got to figure out how to fight through it. It sucks. You're going to have people that are down in the dumps and sad and playing tilted and crying while they're clicking on people. That's what it's going to be. Or crying while they're trying to click on people and they can't do it and they're frustrated and getting killed and then crying and breaking their keyboards. That's the kind of players you're going to have in your games. You're just going to have to deal with it. Roll queue won't fix it.
Providing progression, you're stopping progression. So that's a major aspect of that. But in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this? Do you guys have a different
being a bad player?
I want to know what you guys think.
Being a bad player, being bad at the game should be a reportable offense. If you're bad at the game, you're gonna get reported, regardless of whether you're actually trying, and you're just not that great at the game. It's like, oh, this person is stopping my progression. They're bad at the game. No, absolutely not.
But definitely subscribe to the EHG community. Definitely turn on your notifications for when we get new streams and new videos set out. Definitely join us on our Facebook group, our Discord channel. Make sure to go ahead and check out our merchandise. And this is and then support us on Patreon. Oh shit, no. That's what happens when you drink water and eat fruits. But with that, this is Nico from the EHG community. Stay tuned for another video, and remember that there's always something amazing.
All right, man. All right, man. Catch you later. Good talk. If you want to respond to it, your video was only 7 minutes. My video is an hour and 10 minutes. So, you know, I like to blab and talk a lot when I react to videos, because there's always a lot that I have to say. So, yeah, if you watch it, cool. If you get through it, just treat it like a podcast. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.